The Ghana Revenue Authority has disclosed that it is in the process of automating the payment of VAT. Let's listen to this report from my colleague Eben Sabute.
The Ghana Revenue Authority in recent times has prosecuted some businesses for falsifying VAT receipts and shortchanging the state, a situation which has denied the country necessary tax revenue. According to the Acting Commissioner General Amisha Dai Owusu Amwa, automating the VAT system will eliminate cheating and provide revenue.
One of our aims this 2020 is to move into a digital system. I give an example. Currently, we write VAT invoices, and I have shared with you sometimes the number of times people can avoid writing the invoices, the number of times people are able to write, and then on the first sheet they write 16,000. That's the one that goes to the taxpayer. The one that comes to us, they write 160. There's so much of room because of the lack of technology for people to evade. And therefore, if we automate it, as happens in some countries, where you will not be able to sell without collecting the VAT and becomes automatic, then we'll be able to increase the revenue from the tax.
Mr. Amisha Dai Owusu has also been speaking about plans to partner commercial banks for tax payments and to tax online businesses.
You can get your tax receipt by walking into any bank, and therefore you don't need to look for the tax office only when you want to do your compliance or you have an issue you want to resolve. That's when you walk into the tax office. So convenience, because if I'm coming to pay you money, then it might be convenient for me to. If it's, I have to queue for long hours. So this is also another thing that we are working on. And come next year, we hope to deploy these tools. Again, we all know that we can pay either by transfer, by Momo, by... This is another element that we want to introduce, e-payments, so people can pay through these methods. Number 4 that I also want to mention as far as the efforts are concerned, we are looking at the various areas. One of the areas that we have never touched on is the e-commerce. And e-commerce is not taxed at all. And it's one area that we are coming out of a way of taxing e-commerce.
The authority, as at the end of November, assured that it will meet the revenue target for the year, which is 42 billion cedis. Ebenezer Sabte's report for Joy Business.
Now, as we prepare to usher in a new year, the Ghana Airports Company Limited has resolved to raise standards at the nation's airports to make Ghana a destination of choice within the sub-region. This year, the Ghana Airports Company Limited has claimed several prestigious awards for its high safety and security standards, as well as ranked 4th best airport on the continent. Speaking to my colleague Sheila Tamaklo, the Managing Director Yao Kwakwa gave assurance of maintaining and improving standards with the support of government and management.
The Kotoka International Airport was ranked the best in West Africa by the Airport Council International this year. The rankings, which was done in the first quarter of 2019, also rated Kotoka International Airport the 4th best in Africa, an improvement from the previous year where it was ranked 6th. Similarly, Ghana was awarded the ICAO Council President Certificate for maintaining one of the highest aviation safety and security standards globally at the 40th International Civil Aviation Organization General Assembly in Montreal. On the back of these achievements, the Managing Director of the Ghana Airports Company Limited said they are poised to raise the standards higher.
We want to improve, because if you do not improve, I can tell you that we start coming down. We are oriented that way. But we know it's not going to be easy because we are not easy targets. Everyone in Africa wants to benchmark against Ghana. If I tell you the number of countries that comes here, the number of countries that come here to sign some kind of technical arrangement with us so that we can support them. Ghana Airport Company is a member of the Airport Council International. In fact, I sit on the board in Africa. And the idea is that we don't want to leave any country behind, so we share ideas. So people come to you and find out what you are doing well. And they say that success leaves clues, right? So when you talk to people, chances are they're going to emulate your examples. So if you stay still, chances are someone will emulate and do better than you. So we are oriented at looking at what we've done to get us where we are today, so that we can make it better, so that we can improve our law. So with our orientation, with our resolve, and the commitment from government to support us in this way, I believe that we are not going to come down, but we continue to improve.
The managing director, Mr. Kwakwa, also adds the company is working with Africa World Airlines to operationalize the whole airport.
CTK has started, training pilots at home. AWA has also indicated their interest to start operating to home. But we are awaiting a definite plan from AWA to facilitate them, because we have to make the place ready and make sure we have all the assets that they need in order to operate there. And that asset includes even firefighting equipment, first aid equipment, and so forth. But the airport has all the infrastructure that anyone needs to go there. Okay. But there are other facilities that are just enumerated, like even first aid case and so forth. So we are talking to them, just like we worked with AWA to operate to the Wa Airport. We are working with them, and once they indicate a firm time that they'll be operating to home, we will publish it for people to know that the whole airport is open to commercial flights.
Meanwhile, plans are also far advanced to make Tamale Airport a cargo village. For Joy Business, Sheila Tamaklo reporting.
Now, according to the World Bank, flood risks are increasing in the Greater Accra region of Ghana. It is estimated that close to $3.2 billion worth of economic assets are at risk of flooding in the region. This figure is likely to quadruple by 2050 if no new mitigation measures are taken. Joy Business researcher Philip Namfori earlier shared some insights on the marketplace.
When we had this June 3rd disaster,
yes.
Let's just take the North Industrial Area Enclave, and we saw what the car companies there had to go through. And I was just thinking to myself, I mean, this whole discussion boils under sustainable development, and how can we ensure that today's generation can meet their needs, can have a decent life, and still have some leftover for future generations. At the core of the sustainable development also is the issue of climate change.
Yes.
And as a business desk, climate change should be of concern to us as in Joy Business, because of the effects it has on Africa. And Africa as a whole hasn't really done a lot in terms of its contribution to climate pollution. But we are the ones going to suffer the most from the detrimental effects of climate change. Why? One, for example, we are essentially an agrarian continent. And let's look at Ghana specifically, an agrarian economy. And if since I was in primary school, we've talked about the fact that our agriculture is rain-fed and we need to boost irrigation and stuff like that. If all of a sudden we have a flood, for example, and this flood affects a farmland whatsoever, disturbs roads, there are concomitant effects.
Yes.
So if food crops are destroyed, you realize that there's a shortage already, and we have a problem in there with regards to our food supply issues.
And roads may also get destroyed affected, and it will cut off
exactly.
People. Now, you talked about the Northern Industrial Area. Let's look at a place like Makola, which is also like the retailers hub that we have. There are some few warehouses within the Okanshi area. My question has been to look for $3.2 billion. We don't have it.
We don't, but that's why we need to, and the 3.2 billion is the assets at risk.
Exactly.
And that's why if you go through the report, you see that they are putting things in place, projects in place, for us to change certain things. One example is, and I want to read from here, the structural drainage infrastructure improvements and nature-based flood mitigation measures, as well as modernization of the existing flood forecasting, warning, and emergency response system. And I'm just thinking about the emergency response.
Well, meanwhile, urban planner and architect Charles Acel says the solution is to remodel the city of Accra. He spoke to Northern Accra Hayford.
Any society which gives this kind of abundant freedom, where you can site buildings anyway, anyhow, where the kind of political system we have run over the years is the way it is. These are all contributing because, you see, the politicians, it's about leadership. And it's not as if they don't know. They know. We have the expertise. If it's about funding, I can assure you, if it is something on the heart of the politician, we'll find the funding and do it in phases. I don't think the problems of drainage and flooding is only Ghanaian. It's all over the world. But in some societies, you see that after flooding in 2-3 days, a lot of problems or the water levels will reduce drastically. But what do you see at our end? Highly indiscipline at all levels, physical planning indiscipline, waste management, and on and on and on and on. So I look at it that if we have a strong political will, great cities all over the world had not been built with this kind of freedom and the kind of democracy we practice. They've all been built with some little level of autocratic intervention, which I think we are not ready as a people to accept. And therefore, it's going to be difficult using the modus of operandi currently. It's just going to come and go continuously.
Okay, Mr. Issa, very finally, before you leave us, I mean, should we think as a people of moving the capital city from Accra and probably make sure that we rebuild it? Because some time ago, I remember a professor that was brought in to take a look at Accra and see how he can redesign the whole of Accra for us so we can have a resilient city that can withstand floods.
Well, I think we should remodel Accra. Rebuilding a new city, you know, again, it has its own geopolitical notations depending on who is in power and where it will go. I will seriously suggest of getting, maintaining Accra and getting satellite cities in Accra. We have huge opportunities, Koforidua and Sanwem, Winneba. We can highly integrate them to mainland Accra and fix Accra drainage. It should be fixed, even if we get a new city. Are we leaving the current state for the people who live there to live there in that state? No, we cannot do that. So I think that if a new capital will come.
So those were the thoughts of Charles Acel, an urban planner, on the World Bank report suggesting that we have the risk of losing $3.2 billion of economic assets because of flooding. There's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. That's it for Business Live. Thanks for watching.